So, this truly has been the year of the loot box when it comes to gaming. Loot boxes, I think the first time I saw them was in Overwatch. I know they didn't start there. Team Fortress 2 did them. They're in Rocket League. They're in pretty much every online game. Or, if you're not playing a strictly online game, they're in something like Middle-earth Shadow of War. They're showing up everywhere. Now, the reason for this is, and I got this figure from Jim Sterling, the games industry last year made about $8 billion from game sales alone. Now, for microtransactions, like you find in free-to-play games, those brought the game industry $18 billion last year. So over twice the amount. That's why these microtransactions are being pushed so heavily. But we're talking about a model that's in a free-to-play game. You didn't pay $60 initially to start playing that game. You did with Battlefront 2. And I think that's why things are starting to change. They're starting to change so much so that the Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee suggests that a law should be put into place in the U.S. to block the sale of games with gambling mechanisms to minors. So kind of like taking something like what you find in Battlefront and making it, I guess, probably subject to our rating system. I can definitely get behind that. It's not stopping game companies from doing what they think they need to do to make money, and it's also, keeping stuff like this away from kids, because let's face it, kids don't really have a realization of how much, like, what money is and how it works. They really don't. I remember when I kept pestering my dad for a Game Boy game, and he basically put it in terms like, well, you know what? I can go out and get you the game, or our family can eat dinner tonight. Which would you prefer?
The game.
Yeah, at the time it was lost on me. I will admit it, but yeah, it was just It's really interesting how, like, kids just don't understand certain things, like, especially time too. They don't really understand time. But
it's because they have so much of it.
There's also other examples aside from Battlefront 2, such as, it looks like, they pointed to Overwatch. Although Overwatch really only the loot boxes are really only cosmetic.
It's cosmetic, sprays.
It's nothing that's going to affect the mechanics of the game.
No.
Or the gameplay. Nothing's going to give you an edge. It's just, that's how you're going to look like in the game. And that's all. GTA Online, you can, of course, buy GTA money that you can, in turn, spend on weapons, items, upgrades, and other cosmetics. I'm okay with that, because it doesn't seem like it's all that hard to make money in GTA anyway.
I think if you beat the game, you end up with like $1 million or something.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that carries over to the online aspect. Oh, it does?
Yeah, any money you make in the story, you get online.
Well, okay then. And that's not really a competitive game. No. The online portion. You literally go in that game just to have fun, just to play in the sandbox.
You can gamble in it.
Yes, but then again,
you can bet money on like different games that you play.
What's GTA rated again?
Just rated M.
Yeah, and that still doesn't stop parents from buying it, but that's another topic for another day. Also, the U.S. is not the only country that's considering doing something like this. A French senator also suggested that microtransactions such as those in Star Wars Battlefront 2 could have a deleterious effect on the video game industry. A gambling authority in Belgium is looking into whether or not loot boxes constitute gambling. And by the way, in case you're wondering, EA maintains that loot boxes are not gambling. Here's the deal. It's gambling when you have these are the two conditions that need to be met for it to be considered gambling. You need to be, number one, you need to pay real money to take part in it. Or you can, and the other thing is it's luck based, because when you pay for a loot box, you are not paying for a specific item. They basically have turned it into like those old vending machines where you might get a sticky hand thing for a toy, or you might get a book of stickers, and no one ever wanted the book of stickers. You know, it was one of, it's kind of like that. Like, you're not really getting something, and there's no skill to it either. It's just luck, and you're paying for a chance to win something. You know, it'd be one thing if this was just straight up DLC and you just paid for the content that you wanted. Remember those days? Remember the days where we could just complain about normal DLC, there being too much DLC in a game, instead of, well, now if you want something, you have to pay money for a chance to it. And I understand that with loot boxes, you don't necessarily have to pay. But let's face it, if you want the good stuff, you've got to pay. If you want a lot of the good stuff, you've really got to pay a lot.
Yeah, if you're bad at the game.
You gonna tip your fedora there too, yeah, while you're at
it? Can be your angle or your demon.
All I know is something has got to break with this soon. I mean, I've already decided I'm not going to get Battlefront 2. Like, at all. Of course.
There should just be a ban on Battlefront 2. Just shouldn't play this game.
I still have Shadow of War on my wish list, but there's no way I'm going to buy into any of the microtransactions. I never do. It's just never, it doesn't make any sense, because they've had them in Assassin's Creed for several installments now, and it's just stupid stuff. It's just like you can make your, like in Black Flag, you could buy a pack of points for your ships to like make your ships like instantly level 10 or something like that, and basically just make them strong so they'd go out and get you a lot of money and all this stuff. And it was like, I'm good just playing it normally, thanks. What's your take on loot boxes? Good, bad? Doesn't really matter?
I don't really care for them. I mean, played Overwatch, just gave me skins. I think out of all the loot boxes I purchased in that game, I think it was maybe under 30 loot boxes I purchased. Just because getting in-game currency at some points is kind of slow. Sometimes when it comes to like a seasonal event and they've got like limited skins, and it's like, I have enough currency to buy that one.
Yeah, that kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
Moments like, or times like that is when I would end up buying loot crates, because it'd be like, I want to have the coolest looking skins, or my favorites.
But again,
I don't have the in-game currency to buy all of them.
But again, you're not just going to a storefront and selecting a skin that you want. And you can't do that. You have to go by this whole gambling system of loot boxes where you're paying for the chance to win one.
Right. I'm okay with that. Because I could also get a leather legendary skin, or maybe not really a legendary skin, but an epic skin. Well, that's okay. And then League of Legends, I've never purchased loot boxes. Because League of Legends, you can always I just skip the middleman and buy the in-game currency that they have. Or I'll spend money on in-game currency, and then I'll use that currency to either buy champions or buy skins. Because I can only get key fragments. I can never get chests. Which stinks.
You know, I felt bad for spending $3 on a PS2 theme for the PS4.
Well, I also don't do anything, so it's like money that a normal young adult would use to like go out with friends or go see a movie or go buy some, I don't know, clothes, I guess. It's like,
You don't have any friends.
I don't.
You don't like movies that much.
I actually don't. Very rarely is there ever something in the theater that I'm like, I'll go see it in the theater 2 weeks after it's been out. Because I hate crowded theaters. I can't stand it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do think loot boxes are lousy. I think something's got to change. I'd rather not the government get involved and have to make a law about it, but if it's just kind of adding it to like a rating system, I don't see the harm in that at all.